So I'm going to assume you guys are my training class. I'm going to try to use that tone, right? I may be standing in training. I do stand a lot. Sometimes I'll sit up on this desk, all right? But here we go. You ready? All right, guys, turn to page 41 in your white books, 41 in your manuals. All right, guys, we're going to cover something that's very, very critical to your success with us this summer. All right? First thing is the regular office schedule. Now, a lot of this is going to be reviewed from your interview, but I want to make sure we're on the same page, okay? First thing, it says personal daily interaction. Beside that, I want you to write PDI. PDI. What's it stand for? Personal daily interaction, or pretty dang important. Now, Cody, can you read the first sentence, please?
Daily contact with the office is essential for your success.
Okay, that's good. Blake, can you read the first sentence, please?
PDI is one of those.
daily contact.
Oh, daily contact with the office is essential for your success.
Okay, that's good. First sentence, good. Burgess, can you read the first sentence?
Daily contact with the office is essential for your success.
Okay, are there any questions over that sentence? Okay, daily. It doesn't mean 4 out of 5 days. It doesn't mean 3 out of 5 days. It's daily, means every day. Right? You remember in the interview, we covered, guys, that you don't physically have to drive here every day. Right? You only really need to drive here twice a week. And see, guys, what's really important is you understand most outside sales companies, they have outside sales representatives. They have to go in the office every morning, 7:30, 8 o'clock for a meeting every day. Now, you can come here more often if you want, and we'll cover some programs that you might want to take advantage of, but you only have to drive in twice a week. But you also remember in the interview, instead of driving in each day, we have you what? Call in each day. You check in the morning, check out at night. Remember that? Does everybody remember that? Check in, check out, right? So the next sentence says PDI is one of what? The most what? Important aspects of working with Vector. All right, the PDI phone number. You want to jot this down. 867-5309. All right? All right. Now, check in. If you look down below, check in. You want to write in daily. It's Monday through Friday. Just write daily and then just put M, don't worry about the 2, but just put M through F, 8 to 10 a.m., 8 to 10 a.m., and then Saturday put 9 to noon. Saturday put 9 to noon. Now, as a branch manager, if I'm in training on Saturday, which I will be a lot, if I don't answer, leave me a detailed voicemail. Okay? And then Sunday, just put afternoon before your first demo. Put Sunday afternoon before your first demo. If it's in the morning, if you have a Sunday morning demo, that's fine. Just before your first demo, mainly. All right? Now, guys, here's what's really important you understand about PDI. Okay? When you call PDI, right, the way it's going to work is real simple, okay? I'm going to, you checked out the night before, so I pretty much have your numbers, but there may be a couple demos I don't have. So I might say, hey, we talked before your 9 o'clock, but I didn't hear from you after your 9 o'clock last night. What'd you sell on that demo? And guys, I'm always going to want to know CPO, okay, net CPO, okay? And then how many recommendations you got. So guys, I don't want you to call when you're driving if you don't have your numbers and schedule in front of you. Because the other thing we're always going to do, and this is really the key part of PDI, is we're going to say, okay, how many do you have today? Okay, let's make sure we have your demo times today. How many do you have set tomorrow, and what times are they, and how many the next day? See, guys, one of the keys to being successful with this, guys, the product sells itself. Right? You don't know that yet, but you're going to find that out. As long as you follow the manual, the product does most of the work for you once you're in front of the client. But the key is making sure you're in front of the clients and always making sure your next 2 to 3 days are booked up. So we're always going to do that on PDI each day. We'll look at today, tomorrow, and the next day. Today, tomorrow, and the next day. Not just how many demos you have, but what times are they? How many do you want to have tomorrow and the next day? What are your goals? And then, of course, when are we getting on the phone to make sure those next few days are booked up if they're not? Now, if they're already booked up, you may be in good shape, right? But you may need to get on the phone right away. You know, one of the things that our reps do with a lot of success is a lot of times when we talk on PDI in the morning, if their first demo's not till 10, they'll call us, you know, at 8:30, and they'll get on the phone right away for an hour before they go, and they'll set up 3 or 4 appointments in the morning. You guys learned this morning, right? Even though it's a Saturday, you guys set up some demos this morning. So during the week, you might think, well, it's not a Saturday. Well, hey, there's still a lot of homemakers and housewives home, some workers that work a little later shifts. So you'll still be able to set up a lot of appointments in the morning. One little tip for you when you do morning phone time, earlier bed, okay? So PDI is anytime from 8 to 10, okay? Here's what I want to share with you, okay? And this isn't for everybody. But if you really want to be successful this summer, if you want to be the type of representative that earns several $1,000s or more this summer in income, and one of our top reps, then they always call me between 8 and 8:30. They're the first people I talk to. And guys, if you think about it, it just makes sense. Think about somebody who's successful. All right? Think about attorneys, doctors, surgeons, dentists, top salespeople. They're up and moving. All right? So I'm not saying you can't sleep till 9 or 10 if you want to in the morning. I'm just saying if you want to be one of the top representatives and really successful, then you'll call me first. All right? I always talk to my top people right away. All right, guys? And this contact is so important. Now, this weekend, you're going to call from and after each appointment, right? You guys remember that? From and after each demo. And that's how we keep track of your demos, your pay, everything. Okay? But throughout your career this summer, it's just once in the morning, check out at night. Does that make sense, guys? And what's really important, guys, I want you to view yourself kind of like an airplane, right? And you're taking off. You're on the runway, right? Day 3 today. You're getting ready. You go out for your first sales tonight, right? We're going to see who pops off the first homemaker tonight. You know, how many of you are going to hit your promotion tonight and tomorrow? Your first one. We're going to see who's going to hit your second promotion, right? All that stuff. You're just starting out. You're getting the jet engines turned on. You're on the runway. But when that jet goes up in the air, who do they keep communication with?
Flight control.
Yeah, the tower, right? Tower, flight control. I'm the tower. You're the airplane. It's very important we always keep communication. Does that make sense? Because guess what happens if that jet airplane doesn't keep communication? It might get off course, right? Or worse yet, could crash and burn and die. We don't want to do that. So we want to make sure we have communication. And guys, I'll tell you right now, this is a championship organization, an A organization. Meaning, I want to work with successful people who are A's, who are champions, who are successful. And that's how this organization is successful. I'm not interested in working with C representatives or B minus representatives. All right? 4 out of 5 is 80%. In school, what's an 80%? Yeah, B,
C.
low B, right? Like a B minus, right? 3 out of 5 is 60%. What's that? Yeah, fail. I'm not interested in working with B, C, B minus, C, D, F reps. Representatives. This is a championship A organization. So when we talk about calling daily, that's 5 out of 5. That's every day. If you ever forgot, right, and you get a text or call from me, you call back immediately. Right? And just let me know you forgot. You always get one free card, right? It's okay, but let's just make sure we're in the habit of doing that. And it starts tonight, with your presentations. A little side note tonight, guys, a little tip for you. Don't call before you go to your appointments. Remember how we talked about that? It's a definite appointment. Never call before you go. That's an open invitation for them to cancel. If they do call you to reschedule, which shouldn't happen very often if you're firming up your appointments like I taught you, but if they do, make sure you let me know right away that your schedule changed. And a little tip for you, if they do that, let them know, like, oh man, I was really counting on this appointment, and reschedule them while you have them on the phone. Okay? But you never call them. All right? So are there any questions about PDI? No? Okay, let's move on to advanced training. All right? Can somebody read that for me, please?
The next phase of your training will be held in a series of short advanced trainings. These will help you develop a greater understanding of how to successfully market and show Petco.
Okay. All right, so this is advanced training. So advanced training is Monday from 10 to 2, this Monday, from 10 o'clock to 2 o'clock, right? So you want to make sure that you're here by 9:45 to get all your orders turned in from this weekend. Okay, very important to be a little bit early because you want to get rolling and get all those orders in right away. Okay, so write that in. Monday, 9:45 arrival, 10 to 2. Wednesday, as I already told you, is from 6 to 10:30. Okay, now let me explain this to you a little bit. Okay, Monday, guys, here's what's going to happen Monday. It's going to be awesome. We're going to turn in all your orders. We're going to do a little phone jam to help you get the next few days booked up. Okay, then we're going to teach you some really awesome advanced stuff. All right, about 11:30, you're going to be kind of mad at me on Monday. You're going to be kind of mad at me because I'm going to be teaching you some stuff. But see, guys, we got to walk before we can run. And I'm going to teach you some stuff. It's going to be really hot, but it's advanced stuff. See, that's why it's so important to at least get those at least 5 appointments completed by this weekend. Ideally, you know, some of you have a lot more than 5 scheduled. But if you had 1 appointment, advanced training is not going to be very advanced for you. Does that make sense? All right. Now, Blake, I know you're going out of town, so we're cool there. You and I talked about that. All right. But everybody else, you know, make sure you understand that. And you're back for advanced training, but I just meant you can't do as many appointments, so we're cool with that. But everybody else, make sure you get those appointments in, okay? And one thing that's really important, guys, you understand, this isn't an optional meeting. All right. See, after training today, right, next week, there's only twice you're here, Monday, Wednesday, just like we covered in the interview. Does that make sense? So this is one of those key meetings. All right? So that's Monday. That's advanced training. You want to be here at 9:45. Okay? Now later, I'll give you a couple of assignments. But let me teach you something that's a cool concept we have right now. Over to the right, I want you to write in arrive with 5. Arrive with 5. This concept, guys, is something that we do in our office, and it's really awesome. It's always called arrive with 5. And what that means is, whenever you come in the office, you always want to arrive with 5 or more appointments lined up. Ideally, you always have your next few days booked up. So for most of you, it's a lot more than 5. But you always want to make sure, no matter what, you arrive with 5. 5 plus. Does that make sense to everybody? Cool? Okay. And then the other concept I want to teach you is something that's called 5 before and 5 after. So to the side, right, 5 before and 5 after. And what that is, guys, it's just a really great way to get some extra appointment scheduled. And that is whenever you go to an appointment, like we'll talk, let's say we talk PDI in the morning, Monday morning or Tuesday morning, whenever. We talk PDI, and then you have an appointment at 9:30. And let's say it's 9 o'clock. 9, you got to leave in 10 minutes or so, 15 minutes. Make 5 quick phone calls. 5 before. Before you go to an appointment, I make 5 calls. Then when you leave the appointment, before you start driving, you get in your car. If you got AC, you might turn the car on, get on the AC cranking. If not, just roll the windows down, and you make 5 quick phone calls after. And see, guys, what will happen is typically you'll book up at least an appointment or 2. Now, you might have, sometimes you don't book up any, sometimes you book up 3 or 4. It's a matter of how many people you talk to. But usually you'll get 1 or 2 appointments. And guys, what you're doing basically is you're replacing your demos as you do them. So it cuts down on the phone time needed throughout the week later. 5 before and 5 after each appointment. Does that make sense to everybody? Yes or yes?
Yes.
Okay. Wednesday night, guys, it's going to be awesome. That's going to be combined with your first team meeting. See, Wednesday night, advanced training is 6 to 10:30. But what's really cool about it is we'll have an advanced training from 6 to 7, and I'm going to teach you the virtual demo. All right? How many of you have some out-of-town people, friends of the family, relatives that live not within an hour or two that you think would be good for selling Cutco to? How many, God bless you, how many of you have people like that? Pretty much everybody, right? And so we're going to teach you the virtual demo, guys. It's awesome. I'll tell you more about it Monday, but it rocks. Like, we sell on virtual demos. Okay? Then we're going to have a phone jam, and then we have a team meeting. So advanced training is also your first team meeting this Wednesday. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay. Now let's go down to team meetings. All right. Can somebody read over that for us?
At weekly team meetings, we teach advanced sales techniques and recognize achievements. A presentation is never more important than a weekly team meeting.
A presentation, what, Jess?
Is never more important than a weekly team meeting.
Never more important than a team meeting. Guys, I'm going to tell you right now, when I was a representative, I never missed a team meeting, and I lived about an hour away from the office. Never missed one. I remember once I was sick. I literally had an ear infection in one ear and like a double ear infection in the other ear. Like literally, I was like not feeling well at all. And it was in the winter time, and it was with in Ohio. It was cold. And I told my manager, I was like, look, Bert, I don't think I can make it, man. I'm really not feeling well. I went to the doctor, and I'm out. And he goes, Larry, he goes, think about it. We're going to learn a lot of great stuff at this meeting. He goes, you can sit at home and feel sorry for yourself, or you can come to the office and sit here, but actually learn stuff to make money. He goes, either way, you're going to be sitting around. Why not be at the team meeting? I was like, okay, I'll go. All right. And my point to you guys is, if you're not feeling real well, hey, suck it up and be at the team meeting. Now, that's different if you have a 102-degree fever and you're puking your guts out, whatever. We don't want to see you then, God forbid, obviously then. But the point I'm making is these meetings are valuable because we're always going to teach you stuff that's going to help you grow and make money and be more successful. See, guys, whenever you come to the office, we're going to always help you with helping you with something that's called a PR program, team building program, or we're going to help you get more demos, or we're going to help you learn stuff to make money. And so these meetings are not optional. Okay? Matter of fact, you know how we talked about in the interview, you come in how often? Twice a week. The Wednesday night, right? Wednesday, 9 to 10:30 is what I want you to write in, right? Wednesday, 9 to 10:30. Now this Wednesday, we're combining it with what? Your what? Your AT2. Normally, though, it's Wednesday, 9 to 10:30. So write that in. Over to the right, I want you to write, 6 or 7 o'clock PJ. Now, we're not talking about pajamas, all right? I want you to write over to the right, 6 or 7 o'clock PJ. What that means, representatives, guys, is since our representatives are coming in anyway, pretty much everybody comes in around 6 or 7 to make phone calls. Now, if you have church every Wednesday night and you got to come to the meeting at 9 or right after church, talk to me one-on-one. We'll work with you on that. I can respect that. And that's okay. But most of our reps, guys, since they're coming in anyway, they'll come in around 6 or 7, crank out a big phone jam or a whole team's jam, and it's a lot of fun. Sometimes we'll do little tickets and giveaways and stuff to make it fun. And that's every Wednesday. Okay? But, again, this is not an optional. Unless you have, like, a doctor's note ill, you don't miss a team meeting. All right? I actually had a representative one time that called me up a couple hours before the team meeting. And they're like, hey, Larry, I can't make the team meeting tonight. And I was like, well, Joe, that's not an option. Obviously, you have to be at the team meeting. Why were you thinking you couldn't make it? And Joe's like, well, my aunt's flying in from Europe, and we haven't seen her in a long time, and my mom, asked me to pick her up at the airport because she couldn't pick her up. And I said, okay. I go, well, Joe, let me ask you this. Did you let your mom know you have a job that you have to be at tonight? Well, he's like, Larry, this is my aunt. We haven't seen her in a while. It's my family. And my mom, I live with my mom and dad. I do what they tell me to do. I got to do that. I said, I understand, Joe. And I want you to understand, Joe, I'm not saying that vector or the job is more important than your family or your aunt or obeying your parents. Right? Let me ask you this, Joe. You're a student, right? Joe's like, yeah, I'm a student. I go, would you, let's say you had a final exam scheduled in that made or broke the grade for the whole week. Make or break. Not for the week, for the semester. Final exam. And your mom said, hey, you got to pick up your aunt at the airport. And it was during the final exam and you had missed the final and failed the class. What would you tell your mom?
Can't make it.
Yeah, I can't make it because I have a final exam, right? And so I told that to Joe, and Joe's like, well, yeah, but Larry, that's school. I go, yeah, but school's not more important than your family, right? And it's not more important than obeying your parents. It's just a previous commitment. So I'm not saying vector is more important, but it is a previous commitment that we covered back in training. So guys, real important, make sure you cover with your parents if you live with them. This is one time that's not flexible, that you have to be here every week. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay. Also, if you have another job, make sure you let them know, hey, every Wednesday I got to be here. Now, if you have church and you can't be here at 6 or 7, talk to me one-on-one. We'll work through that. You can come after church. Okay? All right, so that's one thing. Now, the other thing is a little bit more flexible as far as what time you're here. Okay? So I want you to write in team meeting number 2. I want you to write Sunday, 3 to 9 p.m. Now, that doesn't mean that you're here from 3 to 9 the whole time, guys. It's just 3 to 9, meaning that's when you come in any time in between there. Every Sunday, 3 to 9. And I want you to write below that, write PSP. And you don't have to write what that stands for necessarily, but I'm going to tell you it stands for paycheck. Does that sound important? Scheduling. Does that sound important? Phone jam. Paycheck, scheduling, phone jam meeting. Very important. And so, guys, let me explain what happens here. It's real simple. Our representatives come in anytime from 3 to 9. They make sure all their orders are roll load before they come in. That's online order entry. We'll teach you that later. They turn in the physical copies of their orders. And then, if their schedule's not already filled out for the next week, they plan out their next week. Kind of like we did yesterday with you guys. Remember how we planned out like when you want to do appointments? All right, so they plan out the next week. Then, guys, what they do next is they phone jam until at least their Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday's booked up. Remember how we talked about the importance of the next 2 or 3 days? Mm-hmm. So at least Monday, Tuesday. Now, guys, most of our reps on Sunday night, they come in for a few hours. Now, again, if you have church on Sunday night, if you have a church revival, if you have a special dinner with your family, that's fine. That's why we give you that 3 to 9 window. So you can come in before or after. If you're like, hey, my family doesn't want me to work Sundays or whatever, religious reasons, talk to me one-on-one. That's fine. We could have you come in on Monday then. That's fine. Or if you're out of town for the whole weekend and you won't get back till Sunday at midnight, what do you let me know ahead of time? Let me know you're out of town, right? And then we'll have you come in on Monday instead. Does that make sense, guys? So there is a little bit of flexibility there if you're out of town, right, or there's some type of major family commitment. Okay, now, here's the other thing that's real important, guys. So if you're out of town or there's some type of family commitment, right, we can work around that a little bit. But here's the other thing that's real important. I want you to understand this. Is that this is where you set up your next week, okay? And so the PSP meetings, paycheck scheduling, phone jam meetings are real important. And I want you to understand this. If you only want to come in for 10 minutes, that's fine as long as your schedule's filled out the next week and at least your Monday, Tuesday demos are booked up. So if you're like, hey, I've got a hot date with my girlfriend, we got to go to dinner, I've only got 15 minutes, then you'd say, here's all my orders, they're already roll-loaded. Here's my schedule for the week, Larry. My goal's this. And here's all my demos I already have scheduled for Monday and Tuesday. They're already lined up. Here's who they're with. And if you're like that, then that's fine. It could be a 10-minute meeting. In other words, guys, you don't have to set up your demos from the office. I don't care where you phone jam from. You can phone jam from home. You can sit in a closet. You can phone jam from the moon. I don't care where you make calls from, as long as you're hitting your goals and doing what you want to do with the business and having the success you want to have. Does that make sense? But if not, then make sure you always bring all your phone numbers and plan on jamming until your Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday demos are all booked up. Does that make sense to everybody? Mm-hmm. Yes or yes?
Yes.
Cool. Hey, let me introduce you to something that this isn't going to be for everybody. But this is going to be for probably a handful of you, a few of you who really want to be successful at a high level. See, guys, I've had sales reps earn 10, 15, $20,000 in a summer before. That's not the norm. Even earning 10 grand is not the norm. But I've had a lot of representatives get comma paychecks where there's 4 digits to the left of the decimal and they got to put a comma in there. Could you imagine if you really went hard in your fast start getting a comma paycheck? I've seen 18, 19, 20-year-old college kids get a paycheck for $1,500 and $2,000 before in a week. If you want to be really successful, something that will help you so much is called Century Club Sunday. So I want you to write down Century Club Sunday. And this is if you really want to be really successful. All right? And by the way, I'm not even talking that successful where it's, earning 10,000. I'm just saying several thousand. You want to make several thousand this summer? You want to be really successful? 5 grand or more in income? All right? By the way, you sell 20 grand, you make 5, just so you know. 20 equals 5 in income. You want to do that? Be a part of our Century Club Sunday club. And the way it works is real simple. It's on every Sunday. They make at least 100 phone calls. Now you might be like, well, Larry, what if I only have 50 people to call? Because I'm just building up my leads or whatever. That's okay. You can do it twice. Okay? And realize, guys, Century Club Sunday, to make 100 phone calls, guys, it isn't that difficult to make 100 phone calls. It just takes 3 or 4 hours. It's not that big a deal. Probably about 4 hours. 25 calls an hour if you're really cranky. Does that make sense? We've had representatives do this before where they'll come in and they'll make 50 to 100 calls for like 3 hours. And then they'll run to Wendy's or Panera Bread right down the street or whatever and bring some food back, eat and chill for a half hour, and then make another 50 to 100 calls for another 3 hours. I've had top reps do that every Sunday. And what they do is they block it in their schedule like it's a real job with a real time commitment from like 4 to 9, 4 to 9:30. And what that means is no matter what their friends are doing, no matter what their boyfriend, girlfriend's doing, that's what they're doing on Sunday. And they leave with 15, 20, 25 appointments booked up for the week. Imagine the week you're going to have if every Sunday night you left the office with like 20 appointments lined up on average. All right? So you don't have to do that, and it's not for everybody. What you need to do is make sure you're here every Sunday unless we made prior arrangements, and you need to bring all your numbers unless your Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday demos are booked at least Monday, Tuesday. So you can be here 10 minutes, or you can stay with us all day. Hey, we have fun with it. A lot of times we'll have drawings and have some fun with it too. Now, guys, your first Sunday PSP, I want you to write this down. Today is Saturday, May 16th. Tomorrow's the 17th. So your first Sunday PSP is going to be May 24th. So write down May 24th for your first Sunday PSP. All right? All right. Now, on the next page, if you go to page 42, there's some ongoing training. And a lot of these are more optional, or maybe if I get invited to them, that type of thing. Okay? So I'm not going to spend as much time on this stuff, but just real simple. We have field training. That's where you can go with a more experienced rep and watch them do a demo. So next week, guys, if you want to go field training, talk to me and we hook you up with field training. Like Wednesday night at AT2, that's another advantage of all of our reps coming into Phone Jam on Wednesdays, is we can get some field training going. Besides personal consultations, I want you to write down PCs. PCs. All right, this is an opportunity where myself and you, or maybe one of our assistant managers or one of our key staff people could sit down with you and just go over, God bless you, and just go over some stuff one-on-one. If you ever get invited for a PC, right? If you ever get invited for a PC, take advantage of that. That's a chance for one-on-one time. All right, but the main thing we do is more field training. Okay, workshops, division meetings, don't worry about that too much, but go down to conferences. Go down to conferences, and do you see where it says next conference? I want you to write SC1, June 16th there. SC1, June 16th. And I want you to write Greensboro. Greensboro. Guys, this is awesome. Check this out. We're going to have an all-day business conference for you to put on your resume. When I say all day, it's going to be like noon to 6, noon to 7. But check this out. If you get invited to this, you get to put this on your resume. And by the way, guys, when I say invited, right, we want to take everybody, but we got to make sure we take the people who want to be successful and the right people who want to learn and grow. Does that make sense? You know, I'd like to take everybody as long as you have the right mindset and attitude. Check this out, though. Usually there's cost for a business conference like this. We're going to supply all kinds of workshop materials, valuable learning. You get to put it on your resume. It's fun. We're going to have music going, like a DJ. It's going to be cool, right? But for this conference, you know, usually you'd expect all those materials to be at least a $200-300 thing if it's a one day, right? This conference is free, zero charge, right? Larry Manley, our division manager, is paying for sponsoring the event to help all of our sales reps from all over North Carolina and parts of South Carolina to come in for this event. Okay? So next week, I'm going to look at your work ethic and your attitude and see, you know, who we can start inviting. And you'll hear about this at next Wednesday's team meeting. Okay? Now, I want you to write 3 names down to the right. All right? The first one I want you to write down is Brandy Cummings. She's still low. Okay. Brandy Cummings. She has sold approximately $1.5 million worth of cacao. And she's going to be given a message at SC1, guys. Now, I don't have the exact details of her message, but a lot of times, did any of you guys talk to anyone last night on the phone who already owns cacao? A couple of you? You did?
Yeah.
You did? Okay. A lot of times she'll talk and run a workshop on how to sell to people who already own cacao. And guys, that's easy. That's usually like a 80-90% sales ratio. And sometimes a big average order, but sometimes it's lower because they already own a lot of cacao. Her average order is well over $300 when she goes out to somebody's home and shows them cacao and they already own cacao. She has a program called a wish list and all this stuff. It's really cool. So that's probably what she'll be speaking out at SC1. Next name I want you to write down. Write down Theo Fasinoli. You can just write down Theo F. Theo F. He's approaching $1 million in sales, but here's what I want you to know. The last 2 years, he has sold over $300,000 worth of cacao each year. Over $300,000 each year. By the way, remember how we said once your career sales get up, over 150 and all that, you make half and all that stuff, right? Well, he makes half, obviously. Right? Now, he does some realtor business, too, with realtors. Really cool, by the way. It's called a realtor program we have. Once your sales are over $100,000, we look at that as a possibility for somebody. It's a career position. So there's a little bit of engraving and stuff, long story short. So he still makes over 40%, guys, after some business expenses, which are a tax write-off for him, too. It's kind of cool. So you do the math on that. That's around $120,000 to $140,000 in income when you sell over 300. From almost 150, depending on how much over 300 he does. By the way, he just turned 26. So he's making that kind of income as a 24, 25-year-old. Matter of fact, I think he's made over $100,000 in income in the last 3 years. When he was 23, 24, 25. I promise you, less than 2%, probably less than 1% Yeah, well less than 1% of Americans that are 22, 23, 24 years old, 25 make over 100 grand. He's going to be giving a message at that meeting. And the last one I want you to write down is Justin Ford. You can just write down J40. J40. J40's approaching, I think he's now, he's over 200, probably approaching 300,000 in sales now. And guys, this spring, he went on a run where in 4 weeks, he sold almost 50 grand in Cutco in 4 weeks. Making half, by the way. By the way, I think he's, what, 25 years old, I think he is? Can you imagine that? In 4 weeks, in a month, he sold 50 grand and made 25 G's. He made almost what a teacher makes in a year and a month as a 25-year-old. By the way, when he sits down with a client, his average order is over. You want to hear average order? All right? Our company's 250, right? When he sits down with somebody that doesn't already own Cutco, his average order is just north of 1,000 in average order, CPO, net CPO. Just north of 1,000. Could you imagine sitting down and having an $800 sale and being like, that's kind of bad. I only made 400. So this conference, guys, is going to be off the charts, incredible. Everybody who's successful with this is always at this. And basically all you have to do is have a good attitude and work ethic. That's it. All right? So that's under conferences. Qualified presentation report, guys. All right? Go ahead and write in Sunday at PSP. Sunday at PSP. Sunday at PSP. Now, it says in order to get paid on time, guys, here's what I want you to know. In our division, it's real simple. Here's your qualified presentation report. Okay? You only have to turn this in if your base pay is greater than your commission. So normally you don't even worry about it. This Monday at advanced training, if your base pay is greater than commission, have this filled out and turn it in this Monday. Normally it'll be at our Sunday paycheck meeting, paycheck scheduling phone check. But normally you don't even worry about it. Does that make sense to everybody? Yes or yes?
Yes.
Cool. And then last, we've already covered the sample kit, guys. That just gives you some reminders there. The company property that you're responsible for. It does say there if you want to buy it when you're finished working with us. All right. It does say if you want to buy it. Let's take a look. If you want to buy the kit when you're finished working with us, real simple. It's $84 for over $300 worth of product. If not, you make sure we get it back here. All right, because that's company property, and you're responsible for it. All right, so guys, flip back to page 41 real quick again. Real simple. PDI. All right. So flip back to page 41 again. Real simple. PDI is where you call in how often? How often? Every day. Advanced training, we have 2 of them next week. And then normally you only have to physically be here twice a week for weekly team meetings. Now, some of you have heard about our breakfast club, where a lot of reps do come in the morning, and they make some phone calls in the morning. But I'll talk more one-on-one with you about that. But a few of you have already been invited to do that Monday before advanced training. And that's typically what our big fast starters do. All right? All right, guys, pretty simple. That's the regular office schedule. Really what I call the keys to success. The keys to being successful with us right there. All right.
Fire, bro.